here last time. Mr. Tacopina is questioning, and Mr. Tacopina for it.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to rewind for a few questions just to reset the context. We start talking about the surveillance video, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the sequence surveillance video overlaps video from 1616 Vista Del Mar with video and audio from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you agree that 1616 Vista Del Mar video has no sound?
Correct.
But the video from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard does.
That's correct.
So you overlap the videos from each location trying to show when the shot would have occurred during the 1616 Vista Del Mar video.
Correct.
Of course, we agree on this already. If your overlap is off even by a fraction of a second, the shot would not have occurred during the precise moment shown on the overlap 1616 Vista Del Mar video.
That's correct.
And in order to determine when the overlap of the drawing, in order to determine when to overlap the shot heard on the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video with the 1616 Vista Del Mar video, you need to first figure out when that shot took place in relation to the 1616 Vista Del Mar video.
Yes.
So you use a visual benchmark for both videos, something that you could see in the surveillance videos from 1616 Vista Del Mar and 6200 Hollywood Boulevard.
Correct.
And that was the floodlight turning on.
Yes.
And you saw the floodlight turning on in camera 2, and just to be clear, camera 2 is file. The file number, I think based on these filings, was file 18221-716 from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard at 10:17 and 26 seconds.
I believe that's correct.
Now, but even seeing that floodlight in both videos, there would have been only two ways to use that benchmark to determine when to overlap the 1616 Vista Del Mar video and the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video at the early moment when the shot would have occurred in the 1616 Vista Del Mar video, correct?
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I got to do that one again.
I didn't understand.
There's a lot of words in that question, but I'm going to try.
Yes.
Still don't know how to ask it. But even seeing that floodlight in both videos, the one we just discussed, that benchmark, that floodlight going on, right? Okay.
Is that yes? Yes, I'm sorry.
But even seeing that floodlight in both videos,
Yes,
there would
it's
have
still
only
there.
been two ways
Should be.
to use that benchmark, the floodlight, to determine when to overlap the 1616 Vista Del Mar video and the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard videos at the earlier moment when the shot would have occurred on the Vista Del Mar video.
I'm sorry. I think you lost me, sir.
So the two videos, again, the benchmark for that was the floodlight going on.
Correct. One of them benchmarks, yes.
What did you use to determine when to overlap the 1616 Vista Del Mar video and the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video?
Again, it was just the totality of the videos, looking at the sequence of the floodlight, the individuals on the video running from one point of the camera to the other, just kind of looking at it in sequence over and over. Everything seemed to coincide with the sound from the 6200 camera.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's two methods, and tell me if you use one of these two. One would have been to rewind both videos simultaneously to the exact moment, right? Or, let me rephrase that, to rewind both videos, 6200, 1616, simultaneously the exact amount, 30 seconds, for example, right? Would that be one way?
That would be one way. I mean, anticipating that each individual camera system sometimes has its own time. It doesn't mean they're all automatically set at the first exact second or coincide with each other. But again, roughly looking at the light with the individual persons on those cameras, watching them in sequence, it's the best way I can explain it to you.
Okay. And the other way would have been to determine how much actual time passed on the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video between the floodlight and the shot heard, and then use that same actual amount of time to rewind the 1616 VCL marker, right?
Yes, roughly.
Which of those two methodologies did you use?
I think we explored every option, just to try to gauge the best possible, but I can't tell you which one I believe was more accurate than the other. Again, I just looked at the totality of all these things to see that they coincided.
Well, my question really more is, which one did you use? How did you do it?
I mean, I looked at both, but I think the one that stood out more to me was, I think, the light, the flood light.
I understand that, but I'm saying, did you rewind both videos, the 6200 and the 1616, to the exact same amount?
I don't recall whether we were rewinding to the exact second, but to the point where it coincided with the sound. And so, yes, I mean, to answer your question, I think roughly, yes, about the same time.
Dang, Peter.
It was been once.
Yo, Peter is cooking Detective Flores. God dang. That's tough, Peter. There you go, this one. I'm going the wrong way. There we go.
I'm going to play you a couple of clips. I'm not sure that we're ready, but when creating the sequenced surveillance video, it wasn't the exact science, right?
No.
Okay. Meaning the overlapping was done by hand, right?
Correct.
In fact, I think that 55 seconds into the sequence surveillance video, you could see that little cursor being moved by hand in the upper right corner. Did you see that?
I don't recall that.
All right, we'll show you that.
Sure.
Which exhibit is this?
Is this People's 15 or we're using our own? This is People's 15 already. We'll use this one for this.
Oh, this is the video. 15 was thumb drive. We downloaded the video.
Okay, just switch it then. Use it.
I'm just saying, it's 15 though.
That's fine, we downloaded it.
We're using 15 now.
Same one, we're using
Anyway, once we get all this figured out here, at 55 seconds on that video, you're going to see hopefully. See if you can look in the upper right hand corner and you can see that little cursor being moved by hand in the upper right hand corner at 55 seconds.
Okay.
See that?
I can't see the cursor. Oh yeah, he's talking about right here.
We'll do it again. You see the cursor?
I do.
Okay. See those balls over there, those little round things? Did you see it moving around?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means obviously it's being moved by hand by someone.
That would give me an indication that it is.
And as you said, you saw the floodlight turn on in camera 2, which again we identified as file 18221-716 from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard at 10/17/26.
Okay.
And you heard the first shot on camera 2, different file number, which is 182220214, at an earlier moment, which you believe to be 30 seconds earlier based on the timestamps. Correct?
Sir, I'm not sure I understand your question. The two shots at different,
No, the first shot on camera 2, which was filed, well, 1A 220214. That's the name of the file that I have to identify.
okay,
You heard the first shot on camera 2 at an earlier moment, which you believe to be 30 seconds earlier based on the timestamps, right?
correct.
So you figured the first shot would have occurred 30 seconds earlier in that same surveillance video in actual time.
Sir, I'm not
Okay.
understanding your question.
Did you, well, you agree that you said you went back 30 seconds or 30 seconds earlier is when you heard that first shot, right?
Again, in comparison to the videos, as far as what the times they reflect.
Oh.
Yes,
And that's 30 seconds earlier than what the first video, what camera 2 showed.
correct.
All right. And you use that same exact amount of time, 30 seconds, to go back on the 1616 Beast Del Mar video.
I believe so.
You'd agree if the floodlight turned on less than 30 seconds in actual time, after the shot was heard on the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video, that means you went back too far on the Beast Del Mar video, right? If the floodlight turned on less than 30 seconds.
Again,
All right,
so
land the plane,
it
Joe.
wasn't an exact science,
I'm
but,
not criticizing.
so I'm not sure about the exact seconds that you're pointing out. So
Well, again, you just
roughly, yes,
right. What I'm saying is, you just said you went back 30 seconds early based on the timestamps and what you observed.
correct, just roughly within that period.
And again, right. So my question was, and again, I'm not criticizing your methodology, I'm just asking. If the floodlight turned on less than 30 seconds in actual time after the shot was heard on the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video, that means that if you went back 30 seconds, that would be a little too far, right?
Could be, yes.
Interesting.
With regard to the 6200 Hollywood Boulevard video, you extracted 3 sets of videos from 3 different cameras maintained by the residents at that location.
Correct, that was what was provided.
And your understanding, those cameras run in actual time.
Yes, live,
But each camera, I think we've already discussed this last time we were here the other day. In fact, each camera is off from actual time by a different amount, between 2 to 3 minutes.
I'm not sure if it's that camera that was off.
Check because it mistakes the stipulation.
Dang, Peter.
What's the stipulation?
We got another stipulation.
Reread it.
It's 35, remember?
Go over it with Mr. Siegel.
You want to go?
They want to approach, we do that.
Right, you go to clarify something. You're on. All right, this does not need to be on the record. Come on up.
Yes, this is live. Day 8. We up in it. And what obviously, well, maybe not obviously, Joe is trying to argue, or the Honorable Attorney Tacopina is trying to argue, is that the shots may have not come from Rocky. Because if the video was off and they had to match up the sound to what the video showed, then there might be a problem. Which is interesting to see that he's taking this route. And maybe there's some reasonable doubt there. Y'all have to let me know what you think. Shout out to Peter, man. He is in the chat cooking Detective Flores. He says, I'm going to call Flores his mama. He's eating too many tacos. Dang. And also, speaking of Peter, shout out to Peter for the super chat earlier as well. Appreciate you, man. He said Diddy needs to be broke and rot in prison. That dude is a monster. Listen, anybody that would put their hands on somebody else just needs to be thrown them away, period. He also has been a member for 3 months, says Bondi is coming after Fani. There is a sick case in Tennessee versus Boswell you might want to check out. Ooh, okay, I'll have to look into that. And then, of course, Amy with the cake. Amy always got the cake over there. I appreciate you for the super sticker, Amy. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit and see if they came back from this little break here. And also, thank you to everyone that's liked the video as well. 100% of you watching have liked the video. That's amazing. We love tacos. But the standard is reasonable doubt. Why is this trial even going on? They can already show Relly is after money. He's saying Rocky shot him. How can you believe anything he says? Especially when he's the one that found the shell casings, right? I've never seen that in my life. Yeah, I need it, Amy. Thank you. I've never seen that. The person is like, oh yeah, here's the shell casings. I know y'all missed it. This is wild. There should be motions for dismissal or a directed verdict. I don't think there'll be a directed verdict because there is a good amount of evidence. But a motion to dismiss, I think, is incoming for sure. What do y'all think about that? You think there will be a directed verdict? I think there's too much there. Although it may have been acquired in a weird way. Yeah. Let me see what else we're saying. Okay, they're still not back yet, y'all. And I actually have this lawsuit I've been, yeah. Nosy Rosie says the judge won't do it. All right, I got to ask y'all in the chat then. Will there be a verdict? Let me see what y'all think. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree. The fact that they have the shell casings in there by the man has a civil lawsuit against the defendant is wild. What? It's insane. Can you imagine if he didn't have the $550,000 to get out on bond? He'd be sitting in jail. He'd be sitting in jail right now. If this weren't California, I think this would be one of those very rare cases where the judge grants. Yeah, I don't see it here. JOA. I don't see it either, Laura. There's too much there. You've got the video. You've got them fighting back and forth. You clearly see ASAP Rocky pulling out what appears to be a gun. You can't, there's too much evidence there. You have to leave it up to the jury, and the jury has to decide, as actually Laura said at some point before. Is it a case of we see what went on, but we disagree with the law? This man, he felt like he was endangered because of the threats that Relly made against him previously, and we don't think he should be locked up for that. Or does it go the other way and they say, nope, he broke the law, he brandished a weapon, licensed owner or not? It's tough. You never know with the jury. Thank you for subscribing, Jana.
Let's just do this. Let's just play these a few videos for you, okay?
Okay.
The first video, and this is again, I want to show you about the timing. This is camera 1, which is file 18220-237. You hear the first shot at 10:15:53. Tell me if you agree with that. Go ahead.
There's the first one. Second one.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Right, okay. That's it. So you heard the first shot on that camera at 10:15:53 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to play camera 2, which I'm going to identify.
Let me rewind it. I don't like it being live. Hold on a second. Shout out to Peter Ortiz for the 20 bomb.
So you heard the first shot on that camera at 10:15:53 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to play camera 2, which I'm going to identify again by file number, which is 18220214. And you hear the same first shot just over a minute later on this camera at 10:16 and 56 seconds. Tell me if you agree with that after this. There.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was 10, 16, 56 seconds on that camera, which is over.
Sounds like someone banging on a piece of metal.
First camera.
Correct.
And on the third camera, which is file 1A221-240, you hear, hold on a second, right? You hear that same first shot 4 seconds after that last. You hear that
Oh my
same
gosh,
first
I messed
shot
it up. What happened?
4 seconds after that last video at 10:17 on the dot. Tell me if you agree.
Hold on, we'll fix it. Really, Scooby-Doo
Yes,
this
I-
up?
Okay. So a reason that the times would be off from each other is because at least two of the clocks are running faster than the other.
That could be a reason, yes. Independent systems.
And a reason that a timestamp on a camera would be faster than actual time is because the clock for that camera would be running faster than actual time.
Yes, sir, just like here in the courtroom.
Good example, just like here in the court. With that in mind, let's look at one more. Let's look at video from camera 2, just before the floodlight goes off. And now I think the defense exhibit we're going to show, right?
DD.
DD, Your Honor.
Delta Delta. Y'all remember Delta Delta?
This is from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard. Again, I read the file number. I'll read it again. It's 1A221716. The first, before I play, hold on a second. The first timestamp shown on this camera is 10:17:17.
That's correct.
Okay. And the video itself is at 0 seconds because, hold on a second. I just want to make sure we're in the same video here.
Papa Papa or Papa Papa.
We do have, in fact, the same video. Okay. So I think you just agreed the video itself is at 0 seconds because it has not started yet. Correct, sir?
That's correct.
10:17 and 17 seconds.
Yes, sir, on the clock, here, lower clock.
All right, let's play the video until the floodlight is on. 9 seconds later at 10:17:26. Go ahead, please.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. You see that?
Yes,
Floodlight on?
correct.
I'm sorry?
Yes,
Okay. And it says 10:17:26.
it does.
And how many seconds faster than, how many seconds later from 10:17:17 is that?
9 seconds.
9 seconds. Yeah, how many seconds right off the clock?
8.
So that's something's wrong there, right?
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
whether or not it would stop right at 8, 8 between 9, I don't know how to explain.
Thank you.
Well, okay. The clock's at, Chad. So it's 10:17:26 seconds, which is 9 seconds after 10:17:17 seconds. But the video only ran 8 seconds. You can see that, correct? And the floodlight isn't back on, right?
That's correct.
So this would indicate, at least here, that the video is about 1 second past here.
Could be within 1 second, correct.
Yeah. And given that, it's fair to say that the shot heard on 1616 East Del Mar should have been about a second later than shown in the sequence surveillance video, right?
It's certainly not my area of expertise as far as the way sound travels and light
Oh,
travels and
come
travel
on.
different speeds, but that would be within my expertise. But that's
Come
correct.
on, man. Don't do that.
You put this together, the sequence surveillance video, right?
No.
Who did?
I believe it was somebody in the district attorney's office.
Okay.
The district attorney put this together? Oh.
Off of this stuff now. Just 2 more things. And we're done.
Oh, that's terrible.
Now you can. You earlier testified about the police officers who arrived at the scene on November 6th, 2021. Remember those 7 officers?
Yes, I do.
They were there for approximately 20 minutes, more or less.
I think more or less.
20 minutes.
Yikes.
Okay. And one last thing, you submitted, I guess in January of 2024, evidence to the ballistics lab for testing in this case, right?
Thereabouts, yes.
And the testing was done, oh, I'm sorry, it was done it was submitted in December of 2023, right?
I believe that's correct.
I could just refresh.
I believe when the return came back, it was a different date than when it was submitted.
You're right. Just take a look, make sure. Same dates here.
Yes, sir.
So that report was, I guess, finalized in January 8th, 2024.
That's correct.
And that was given back to you, this report?
Yes, it was submitted to myself and one of my partners.
But yet, that report was not given to the district attorney until about 2 weeks ago, for the first time, correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Over a year since the report was given back to you or one of your partners.
Correct, that's my understanding, yes, sir. I believe it had been given, but
Not really.
I could be
Not
here.
really, Peter.
Well, obviously, the district attorney represented that they got it the first time, 2 weeks ago.
correct.
The DA, was the DA even informed of its existence, do you know?
I'm sorry, what point?
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be a 3-2 of you. Stay before it's started.
That's it. Okay, thank you for your time.
Sir, motion to strike whatever answer was given. I don't know, was there an answer?
I don't think you gave an answer.
The question is stricken, and if there was an answer, that's stricken as well.
Okay.
So
Mr.
the last question, correct?
The last question? Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Zolman, do you have anything?